Hey everybody, what's going on? Danny Koker here, aka The Count, with another episode of Counts on Cars. What in the world is Counts on Cars? Well, you're at my YouTube channel right now, the Counts Customs YouTube channel. Appreciate you tuning in. What we do on Counts on Cars is I like to talk about the vehicles that maybe you just watched on an episode of Counting Cars. So if you're watching right now, you may have just watched the episode on history, Counting Cars, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about it. Cool stuff, man. First off, let's talk about the motorcycle. 1959, Harley-Davidson Panhead. Already, when you just say those words, 1959 Harley-Davidson Panhead. If you're a bike guy, you already know it's cool. Here's the cool thing about this bike. It's a full-on chopper. I'm talking real cut-up chopper by every true definition of the word from back in the day. You know, why do they call them choppers? Because guys chopped them up. That was the deal, man. You just cut them up and made them your own. This bike belonged to the customer's father. And the bike was a chopper when the customer was a kid. And so, this guy grew up with his dad's motorcycle as a cool old school 70s chop. And as the kid, grew old enough, the father used to let him ride this chop and enjoy this chop. And now, as years go by, and we lose people that we love, and material items get passed on to people. This particular 59 Panhead was passed on to his son, and became my client. And this gentleman really wanted to restore this 59 Panhead, but he wanted it restored like his dad had it in the 70s. He wanted it old school 70s chopper, proper. I love stuff like this. I have a real soft spot in my heart for the father-son projects. Those of you, again, that know me, know that about me. If you don't know me, the father-son projects are extremely important to me because it was my father that got me started in this business, in the cars and bikes business. So I respect that a lot. This 59 Pan, being a father-son motorcycle back in the day, being restored by Shannon, couldn't have been in better hands. It's perfect. Rigid bike, stretched in the down tubes, stretched in the backbone, old school Springer front end, chrome Springer front end, no front brake, spool hub, no front brake on the bike at all whatsoever. Classic old school twisted spokes, gorgeous on it. Had the stacked square headlights, the huge old school that you saw in the 70s, king and queen sissy bar seat. I mean, the old school king and queen seats, they were big back in the 70s, man. They were big. We see king and queen seats sometimes, done now, but to pay respect and do one like it was done in the 70s, man, they're big. So, when you're riding, you're the guy up front riding the bike, the way that seat stepped up, it was like a backrest halfway up your back, and for your passenger, there was a whole lot there that made it actually semi-comfortable for a rigid motorcycle. So I say semi-comfortable. Rigids, the comfort level is up to you, depending on how much you enjoy pain. I ride rigids. So anyways, it's just a phenomenal bike. Shannon did an amazing job restoring this bike, restoring the engine, restoring the trans, restoring really everything mechanical on it. Was just a challenge and quite the undertaking for Shannon. He did a magnificent job. The bike is correct. It's 70s era correct. And, just kudos, respect to Shannon on his build on this bike. Another huge challenge on the build of this bike was The owner wanted the paint scheme to reflect the way that his father had the bike, painted back in the day. And that's right up Ryan's alley, man. Ryan is fantastic with paying respect to 70s paint jobs. And what was really cool about this one was not only did Ryan really go over and above to pay respect to the original paint job on this bike, but what's really neat is the paint materials have changed, obviously, very much over the years. And so while Ryan mimicked the original paint job, we just can't help the fact that we've got to put a little more Counts Customs funk upon it, and all of the colors just pop a little bit more. All of the flake seems to be a little more flake to it. All of the graphics seem to have just a little more coolness to them, a little more stank put upon them, while paying respect to that 70s vibe. The blue that he chose on this bike, it's almost semi-aqua, but yet blue. There's a little bit of a turquoise in it, but still yet blue. And there's so much metal flake in it. And the flames on the bike, there are very modern, updated flames, but when you look at the flames on this bike, you gotta think 70s. So the way the flames are laid out was 70s. The colors in the flames was 70s, but again, done with updated and better materials to just make it that much more cooler. All of the silver leafing and the striping on it. This bike is just proper. When I look at this bike, I think to myself, this is something that you would have seen on the cover of Street Chopper magazine back in 1970 something. I don't know. We love doing this stuff here at Counts Customs, man. There's not a lot of places to go to get your pure, real, old school, true 70s chopper restored and or built. Yes, there are magnificent shops all around the nation and all around the world. There are guys just in their garage doing it, and there are guys that have shops doing it. And mucho grande respect to all you cats out there doing it and keeping it real and keeping old school stuff alive and well. I'm just extremely proud, of course, of my boys here at Counts Customs. And Shannon, phenomenal on restoring everybody this bike and making it rideable, usable, enjoyable. 59 pan chop, to be able to do that, that's huge. That's cool. Much respect again to Ryan, my man Ryan Evans, for understanding what a 70s chop is supposed to look like and making it gorgeous. So this was a really cool build and a feather in our cap here at Counts Customs on that chop. Another cool thing in this episode, Horny Mike. Let's talk about Horny Mike for a second. Everybody thinks, well, not everybody. I take that back. The tables are turning slightly on the love for Horny Mike. For years, I would hear it from people. Why you got this guy in your shop? He's nothing but a pain in the butt. Get rid of Horny Mike. He did blah, blah, blah. You got to be here to really understand. Horny Mike, this was a cat that was sleeping on somebody's couch and airbrushing t-shirts down on Fremont Street. Mike was given an opportunity by myself. Here's an opportunity, bro. Show me what you can do. He has now been with me for, good Lord, I don't even know how many years. I mean, years. I'm talking, more than double digits years, more than 10 years, I know. My Lord, Mike's been with me for an awfully long time. He has proven himself. He took an opportunity, grabbed the bull by the horns, and really came out swinging. Mike wanted to say thank you to me for giving him this opportunity. And it was driving him crazy because, we build awesome cars, we build awesome trucks, we build awesome motorcycles, we build all kinds of cool stuff here. But the buildings, I've got 1, 2, 3, I got 5 buildings here in this complex, and a whole bunch of people working their butts off. And the buildings were looking aged, and the signs were looking old, and it was driving Mike crazy. And as a thank you for trusting him and giving him an opportunity, this cat came in, repainted all of my buildings to make them look beautiful and brand new, fixed, stucco work and all that kind of stuff. Repainted the buildings, make them beautiful. And then all the signage on the buildings, all of my signages, the Kustoms signs, the main entrance signs, the welcome sign, whatever, like the cross signs, all this kind of stuff that were the old signs, man, took them down and redid them in a magnificent way. He was using, this new, fantastic laser cutter and 3D printing and layering the signs and painting them different colors and materials with flake on them, all this kind of stuff. I mean, Mike just came out swinging. So in this episode, we got the opportunity to show off Mike's skills in just doing things like freshening up the buildings and redoing all of the signage on them in a manner where the signs are just wicked cool now. I just had normal signs back in the day. Now the signs reflect what we do here. The signs are just as custom cool as the vehicles that we do here. So yeah, in this episode you saw Mike, working on these different signs and the projects of the whole new signage for the buildings. And you're going to see here, coming up very soon, you'll see the buildings repainted and done. You will see all of those cool signs finished and up and on the buildings. Let's continue on with this episode. And let's talk about an amazing car. 1968 Dodge Charger. Good Lord Almighty. Mike and Dixie. This was husband and wife, wonderful, wonderful people. Really, honestly, super cool people. I really like them a lot. Mike wanted a Charger. I mean, for years, like the Charger was his fantasy car. I'm going to say he was going on 50 years of wanting this car. Wow. I think he had a military buddy back in the day or something that came home from his tour of duty and bought a Charger and went and showed it off to Mike, and Mike had never even seen a Charger, and it blew his mind. And it was at that point that Mike said, someday. Well, someday happened for Mike, and Mike came out swinging on the 68 Charger that he wanted to have. This car looks like a 68 Charger. We paid all kinds of respect to keeping the body 68 Charger factory body, to paying respects to a large portion of the interior looking like 68 Charger, this and that. But this car is a brand new car. I'm not kidding you. Everything about it is modern. The full chassis updated, all the suspension completely updated. The power steering, the power brakes, the power windows, the power everything. The monster stereo in it, the giant radiator in it, the modern air conditioning in it. This car has the big brand new Hemi engine in it, with the 5-speed automatic overdrive transmission in it. It's like I said, man, if you want a 68 Charger that you can drive every day and drive it across the country and back if you want to, this is the car. It is 100% modern under the skin. Looks like a proper 68 Charger. Underneath, everything is new and new technology. So driving it and enjoying it every day is not an issue at all. So Mike and Dixie are going to have an absolute blast in this car. Inside, it's updated, but updated in a proper manner. You've got that beautiful black with just minimal stitching in it, the custom console, the dash that pays respect to the old school 68 Charger, but with, the modern gauges, the modern air conditioning. everything about this car is proper. And then Ryan, again, I've got to give huge kudos to my man Ryan. You know, this car was a candied black cherry. Initially, Mike was talking about a black car, but he was also looking for a little zing. So we talked to him about, how about black cherry? Because at nighttime, the car still looks black. And at certain times throughout the day, the car still looks black. But man, when you hit the light just right, you see all this black cherry in it, and it's just gorgeous. Absolutely fantastic. Ryan did a great job, and here's a huge challenge, is Ryan, my man Ryan, he's got it's like his unicorn is that generation Coke bottle bodied Chargers. They've just always been a challenge for Ryan. He always has a hard time with them. And this particular one actually cooperated for him. And so even though he normally says, oh my gosh, another Charger, what am I gonna do? This one cooperated, and it just laid out perfect. So you know, huge kudos to Ryan on that. And we even did like the old bumblebee stripe on the back of the car, kind of in a charcoal vibe. And instead of something like RT, we did the MR, because that's Mike's initials, Mike Rhodes. But it's also, I believe, his father's initials as well. And that was his wife's idea, Dixie. She wanted to just do something nice for her husband, and so she secretly asked, is there any way to incorporate that on the car, the initials? And so we thought, well, what a great way to incorporate it is do the old school bumblebee stripe on the back, and instead of the RT vibe, do the MR vibe. So it's this car was beautiful, you know, narrowed rear end, so we could put, you know, monster size wheels and tires in the back. Car sits right, car sounds right, car looks right. The new Hemi engine in it, it just run it, drive it, enjoy it all day long. And what a great couple. Mike and Dixie, just wonderful people. So this was a pleasure to do. The whole team really came together fantastic on it. We found the car for them. Mike did not have the car and bring it to me. He was like, I want one of these, find one. So, you know, just from the beginning, very beginning process of finding the right car to work on, you know, is something that we did here for the client. And we found a proper 68 that was in wonderful condition to start with. So that made it a pleasure to work on throughout. But I'm not kidding you when I say every inch of this car has been modernized and updated. So when you look at it, you're looking at a gorgeous, custom, wicked cool 68 Charger. But when you get under the skin, it's actually a brand new car that can be driven every day, anywhere, anytime, any place. So on that note, gang, I hope you all enjoyed that particular episode of Counting Cars. If you haven't seen it, go back and look for it. You guys will dig it. And I really hope that you've enjoyed hanging out with me here for this episode of Counts on Cars, where I like to talk about the episodes and give you a little behind the scenes stuff. So while you're sitting there watching this, hit that subscribe button right here on the Counts Customs YouTube channel. I promise we're going to keep sending you cool stuff, be it like you're watching right now, Counts on Cars. We talk about the episodes of the shows that you're watching, or anything else, man. I'll show you behind the scenes stuff, cool builds, cool things we're doing, cool stuff that other people are doing. I'm gonna just share with you cool stuff on the Counts Customs YouTube channel. So in the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with me, listening to me just jabber on about things. You guys rock. I will see you soon.